5, Eric, Stacy, and Lauren with you today. We got lots to talk about today.
Lots to talk about. Welcome, whether you're watching at home, Fire Stick, Roku, or the WFNY News 2 app.
Yeah, we do have a lot on tap this afternoon, including the latest on the deadly plane crash on I-85. But first, we want to start with breaking news on North Carolina's mask guidance. Right now, Governor Roy Cooper is encouraging an end to all school and local mask mandates. Just moments ago in a state COVID-19 task force briefing, Governor Cooper cited declining metrics and vaccine eligibility as reasons to make the change.
We expanded testing, and when effective treatments and miraculous vaccines became available, we pushed them out across the state. And all along, we informed the public about this virus, and we systematically reduced mandatory protections, relying more on people and businesses to make educated choices. These efforts have worked.
State Health Department Secretary Cody Kinsley also spoke during the briefing. He provided an update on the latest metrics and reiterated that today's changes are a result of positive trends across the state.
If our trends continue to improve, beginning March 7th, schools and other low-risk settings can consider moving to voluntary masking at the discretion of local authorities. We strongly recommend that schools promote vaccinations and boosters for students and staff, and that schools participate in our testing program.
Governor Cooper's announcement comes amid a major discussion happening in the Triad. Tonight, Guilford County commissioners will decide if the indoor mask mandate stays or if it goes. Right now, the mandate is set to expire at the end of this month. Commissioners do have the option to extend it. This is a developing story. We'll let you know what they decide. The outcome of tonight's county commission meeting will impact the Triad's largest school district. The Guilford County Board of Education is recommending a mask optional policy if the county lifts the indoor mask mandate. The board is meeting tonight, but they are unable to vote on the matter until next week. Mask mandate lifts are trending across the Triad. Winston-Salem Mayor Alan Joines announced the city's mask mandate will expire this month. He says the decision was based on several factors, including a decrease in Omicron-related cases. So keep in mind, businesses and churches will still be able to make their own COVID-related requirements once that mandate expires.
And now let's take a look at some of the numbers that have led to these relaxed rules. The percentage of tests coming back positive has shown big improvements. The latest number is 10.6%. It's the lowest the state has reported since December 21st, nearly 2 months ago. Most of our recent numbers have been considerably lower over the past 2 weeks. Just one day has been above 20%. So you can see that there. Obviously, they've all been above the state's goal of 5%, this red line on your screen, but they're much better than the record high of 36% the state reported last month.
All right, let's look at our temperatures right now and see what's happening with wind gusts. You know, really the big story for us weather-wise, at least in the next 24 hours or so, will be the winds out there because it could get really windy overnight. We're talking 40 or 50 mile an hour wind gusts in the overnight period. Temperatures right now, and by the way, you see these arrows moving along, that would be the wind coming in out of the south. That's why we're so mild. 70 degrees in Asheboro and Burlington. Look at Yanceyville at 72, Greensboro 68, Winston-Salem 68, High Point at 69. Very mild. We'll see these overnight lows in the mid-50s tonight. Keep in mind, we have a chance of an isolated thunderstorm or two. There are those winds out of the south, 20 to 30 and gusting up to 50 miles per hour. We do have that wind advisory in effect until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. And when you look at the local picture here, a couple of sprinkles and showers in the mountains, but here's where the majority of this is. And this could get a little bit volatile. We'll watch for maybe a rumble of thunder here or there and a thunderstorm or two in that overnight period. Again, that'll be happening late overnight while most of us are asleep. High temperatures on your Friday at 55. We've got a 20% chance of that leftover shower early, and then we'll clear out. It'll still be very windy tomorrow, but Saturday, Sunday, mostly sunny and 50s, and then 60 degrees on Monday. Rain chances move back in. Tuesday, Wednesday of next week will warm up to the mid-60s, back down to 56 on Thursday with rain ending. All right, and don't forget your News 2 app tonight and tomorrow morning. You'll need to hold on to that. You can get the latest forecast with the most accurate weather team right here in the Triad. By the way, free download. You can get that on the Apple Store there, the App Store, or the Google Play Store as well.
Now to a developing news in Davidson County. Right now, we have a live look at I-85 where a plane crashed into a tractor trailer last night. As you can see, that truck still laying on its side. It's completely scorched, and if you take a look here, you can see it's a much different scene than what we saw yesterday. We saw smoke, we saw flames, several first responders on the scene. A little calm there, but again, that truck still on its side. Investigators say it flipped over and caught fire when the plane hit it. Right now, we are working to find out more about the driver and the load he was carrying. Highway patrols say it happened just after 5 o'clock. Right now, the peak of the afternoon traffic, right during the peak of the afternoon traffic. They say just moments after the plane left the Lexington-Davidson County Airport, it slammed into the back of the truck. Officials identified the pilot as 43-year-old Raymond Ackley. He died at the scene. The truck driver was taken to a hospital. He is expected to be okay.
Well, we all know there are many fields that are male-dominated out there. One of those fields, firefighting. However, WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey spoke with one Winston-Salem firefighter that is doing her part to change all that. Jalen?
Yeah, Eric. Angela Saul, she has given most of her life to the Winston-Salem Fire Department, and during her near 30 years of service, she never set out to be a trailblazer, but that's exactly what she is.
It's really not about you. It's about service and being in the community and making a difference within the community.
Angela Saul never dreamed of being a firefighter growing up, but how she got her start explains her personality perfectly.
It came from a dare, saying I couldn't do something, and I was raised by a strong black woman who says there's nothing I couldn't do, and then she was right.
Now, almost 30 years in, Saul has checked a lot of firsts off in her career. She was the first black woman fire investigator in the city's history, as well as the first black woman deputy fire marshal. But Saul told me neither of those is what she's most proud of.
The biggest accomplishment that I have made is being the very first female to retire with time.
That's right. Angela will become the first woman firefighter in the city's history to retire with full benefits.
I'm retiring March the 31st.
Oh, so like next month?
That is correct. Fuck me, I'm done.
Deputy Fire Marshal Saul did mention there was one more thing that she was proud of.
It is a true honor for little girls that look like me, who people say they can't do something, and they not realizing what they want is at arm reach. The only thing they have to do is reach out for it, grab it, and go for it.
Deputy Marshal Saul also told me that when she started her career with the fire department, she was still enrolled at Winston-Salem State University, where at the time she was a cheerleader and a firefighter at the same time.
Gosh, I
about
love
good.
that.
I love that.
That's phenomenal. Jalen, I mean, to me, we forget the impact you have on children, you know, when they look and see someone that looks like them and that they think, I can do this. I mean, was that a point that she really wanted to get across?
So when I do my interviews, just a little transparency, I always like to ask people, what is the message that you want people to take away from what we're doing? And that was the #1 message that Deputy Marshal Saul wanted me to make sure was hammered home today. That's great.
Some great work that she's doing. It actually reminded me of one of my really good friends who was a firefighter for several years in North Carolina. And she told me when she would go on scenes, families would want to take pictures with her because they hadn't seen a female firefighter and a black female firefighter at that. And she just stopped firefighting a couple of years ago.
Wow.
That's amazing.
I mean, just think about it though. She's probably one of very few women that are even in this force in the first place. But I do want to say congratulations on your retirement.
Yes.
That is so exciting. 1 month left. You did such wonderful things for our community. So we want to say thank you to you.
Yeah, I love that when Jalen said, wait a minute, you mean you're retiring light number?
Right.
Yeah. She was like, yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know, so when I came into it, I didn't know that part. And I was like, oh, this is perfect.
That's awesome. Good for her.
Wonderful story, Jalen.
Yeah, thank you, Jalen.
Absolutely.
Thank
We're
you.
coming back.
A Triad author is on a mission to promote diversity and inclusion with the publication of her new children's book. In 2021, Brittany Nevels launched the first book of her series, Brilliant Brown Minds. She says her goal is to show children of color they can be anything they want to be if they put their mind to it.
I'll be a ballerina. I'll float like a feather.
Brittany Nevels enjoys reading books with her 10-year-old daughter, Essence. So much so, she was inspired to write one herself.
But this particular book started as a poem, and it was a poem to my daughter, just telling her to embrace herself and be herself, and that she could be whatever she wanted to be.
Nevels is the author of Brilliant Brown Girls, What Do You Want to Be? A children's book that showcases the career ambitions of 13 different girls of color.
I'll be a photographer, freezing memories they treasure.
After struggling to find inspirational books with children who look like her daughter, Nevels says she wanted to do something about it.
If you look at the studies, right now it's easier to find a book with an animal or a person that isn't of color as the main character than it is to find someone of color. African Americans are only 5% of the main characters, and here they are all grown up.
A ballerina, a judge, or even a TV news anchor. The career possibilities are endless.
I chose characters that you wouldn't necessarily see in that profession. There's a character with albinism, there's a character with vitiligo, other nationalities, Native American, Indian, African American.
Daughter Essence even had a hand in the creation process.
I like that one of them was a fashion designer, which I want to be when I grow up.
Daring to dream while building self-esteem is what Nevels says it's all about.
Representation matters. They need to see themselves, and they need to have that motivation that, yes, this person looks like me and they can do it, and they can do the same.
So here is a copy of the book. As you can see, it has some beautiful, beautiful illustrations. Nevels says she is currently writing a second book in her series. This one will focus on the career aspirations of young boys of color. For details on how to purchase the book, just look for this story on our website. So speaking of books, I asked you on Facebook, what was your favorite book as a kid? Leanne Humphrey says Green Eggs and Ham, and still is. Joanne Misteller says the Little House on the Prairie series, still have a set. Brittany M.A. wrote The Babysitter's Club.
Oh, that was good.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Andrew Polino said Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, and then Sandy Banner wrote The Boxcar Children. Pretty familiar with a lot of those books.
Yeah.
So one of the books for me that it wasn't so much, because I didn't read it as a kid, I read it to my kids, but it's been around forever, is The Giving Tree. And so you don't get that when you're a kid until as you get older it changes in your view of that story, and it means more to you, I think, as an adult even. But I read the Little House series as well, and Wrinkle in Time was one of my all-time favorites.
One of my favorite books was Junie B. Jones,
Yeah.
that series. I
that
loved
series.
Amber Brown as well. But I
Yes.
wish I had more options like this book here. I didn't have too many books with children that looked like me in them. So I really love that Brittany Nevels has come out with this.
Yes, that book is so cute. I got to look through it a little bit. The illustrations, we were talking about
Yes, I
that
love
during
those.
the story. They did an incredible job. You said it was a woman out of Colombia?
Yes, so the woman who drew the pictures was based in Colombia, like the country.
Okay.
So they worked together on
International.
this because she started the writing process a couple years ago, but the book officially launched back in 2021.
Wow.
And I love how this story kind of ties into the last one that we just ran about just the importance of representation and just seeing people that look like you, so your kids, they know that they can achieve it and do anything.
Yeah, I love that. It just made me think about my favorite book to read to Baylor right now is Chicka Chicka Boom Boom.
Yes.
Do y'all remember
Will
that
there be
one?
enough
Yes, that
room?
was a good one.
Yes. Yeah, but I think that this is great for kids to have. Love it.
Green Eggs and Ham was also I liked all the Dr. Seuss stuff when I was a kid.
So
Yeah.
Loved
did y'all
all those.
read Where the Sidewalk Ends? The Shel
Yes.
Silverstein,
That
like
sounds
short.
familiar.
It's like they're like short poems, like short story type.
Yes,
It's
yes,
like a
we
book
have
of.
that.
It's like a collection of short pieces, and it's
That's one of my favorites when I
Where
was
the
growing up.
sidewalk is?
Where the
Yeah, that's a
sidewalk
great
ends.
one. You should
Yeah.
get
I'll
that.
have to look
Yep.
into that
that.
one.
That's a
It
good one.
sounds so
It'll be
cool.
perfect for Baylor. You can start with her on that soon station.
Yep.
Okay, I'll look into
I'm pretty
it.
sure that's the same author that did Giving Tree, but I'll have to look it up
Really?
and see if he did that. Yeah, Shel Silverstein. Very good.
Well, we're going to keep the positive energy going. This month, Coach Lamont is paying homage to several black trailblazers who've made their stamp on American history. Today, he shares a powerful message of the truth through the eyes of Harriet Tubman.
Harriet Tubman, responsible for leading many slaves to freedom, once said, "I was the conductor of the Underground Railroad for 8 years, and I can say what most conductors cannot say. My train never went off the track, and I never lost a passenger." This is your moment to define who you are and what you will be remembered for. You hold the pen to write your life's perfect script, but if you refuse to write that script, you are placing a burden on those who have decided to take the necessary risks to complete their intended call. Like Harriet, guide people to their promised land and help them experience a freedom through your gift. It is impossible for you to lose when winning has already been defined for you. This is Coach Lamont. Make today your best you day. I'll see you tomorrow.
I just like that graphic we see on the screen right now, the power of truth, because that's probably one of the most truthful and powerful
Yes.
statements ever, that there is power within truth.
I like how he was talking about, like, you need to write your own stories instead of letting other people, take over the narrative. And it made me think of a saying that was like, quit trying to steal the pen. God is still writing your story. So sometimes it's
I like
okay to
that.
just have faith in him instead of trying to control the situation.
Oh.
And just know you might not have all the answers, but with faith, everything will work out in your life.
You're just speaking to me then.
You know I got to take y'all to church.
I know, I
Once a day.
love
During
it.
U Day.
I love it.
Once a day. Yeah, I think it's true that sometimes I look back at my life and there are multiple times when I thought this was the right way for me and it wasn't, and I was forced another way, and at first I was disappointed, later on I realized.
Yeah, it's like that meme of God holding like the big teddy bear behind his back,
Yes.
Yeah.
and then the little kid was like, "But I still wanted God," like their little teddy bear, and then they got that big one, meaning a big blessing is coming.
That's right.
Yep,
Bigger
you
than what
never
you
know.
wanted.
Gotta
Very
have
true.
faith.
All right, talk to us on Facebook. We're coming back. Well, hello, Facebook peoples.
So we can look at more pictures of the book, if you guys would like to see.
Yeah, you can zoom in on one of them.
To zoom in, if we want to zoom in on one of these cameras here. Okay, camera 3.
Let's see here. Okay.
Trying to get on.
Okay, camera 5. All right, so here I thought was really cool. She had a character that has vitiligo. So here's a little girl right here. And like on the right side of the page are the little girls, and on the left side of the page are like who they can be. So like here's page 1, like of a girl dreaming to be a ballerina. And then here's the pictures of the different ballerinas. I mean, these are just beautiful pictures. Here's one of the doctor. And you can buy her book on her website. I do have it posted online. And she also has shirts that she sells. She also has bracelets. It's pretty much a whole series of things tied in with the book. So if you buy the book, you can also get a sweatshirt or a t-shirt too. Here's Kamala Harris. So you can dream of being president one day.
Is the news anchor you, Lauren?
Huh?
Yeah, where's the news anchor
Oh yeah, the
picture?
news anchor is in here too. I thought, let me open up to see. Because she was like, we even have a news anchor. I was like, that's awesome.
So I was just looking it up because I
Here's
could
the
not
news
think
anchor.
of I couldn't think of my favorite book when I was growing up, but I just found it. It's where'd it go?
Okay.
The Little Mouse,
yeah.
the Red Ripe Strawberry, and the Big Hungry Bear. Okay, bye. What is this? Oh, it's weather.
You know, these temperatures, it's kind of unusual when you see a graphic like this where the low and the high are pretty much the same. We are very mild overnight and will hover in the mid 50s. The big issue tonight really is going to be, yes, we could see an isolated thunderstorm, believe it or not. We're that warm. Some of our temperatures in the low 70s in different parts of the Piedmont, but the winds are going to be the story. 20 to 30 miles per hour out of the south and gusting up to 50 miles per hour. So this is one of those evenings where you want to go out, and if you have chairs or pillows out and outdoor patio furniture, you might want to pull some of that inside because that's very strong. I mean, our summer thunderstorm winds 20-30, that's not out of the question, but a 50-mile-an-hour wind gust, that's pretty strong. That'll be the case overnight tonight. Then tomorrow, still breezy, but skies will clear and will probably hover in those mid-50s as we mentioned. The majority of the rain is still back to the west. We have severe thunderstorms warning to the south, and that's going to be moving into the Atlanta area. But all of this moves by in the overnight hours. In fact, the wind advisory probably will expire by about 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's what they're thinking now. But this could be a very, very windy overnight, and you could hear thunder as well as most of us are sleeping. Mid-50s there. You can see that for Friday and Saturday. Look for that 20% chance of an isolated shower. That'll be overall, you're looking at that's an early morning shower if you get it at all. And then clearing and breezy. We've got 56 on Saturday, 51 Sunday. Lots of sunshine then. We'll warm up next week, 60s, mid-60s by Tuesday, Wednesday, but a good chance of rain. That's a 40% for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but it'll start clearing out Thursday, second half of the day, and temperatures will drop. We'll go to the mid-50s for then. Well, as we push through the winter months, there's a big debate. It rages on between Southerners and other parts of the country. What is a toboggan? We checked with people on Twitter to see what they think. Lori Trickster says, she goes, is from the South and says that she calls it a beanie or a boggin. He says a toboggan is a round sled, people. Foster says, admits that she's confused on the matter. She says the hat is a beanie, the toboggan is a sled. Gemini Goddess says she's originally from Texas and was raised to call it a toboggan. However, now she's found herself calling it a beanie. So I found an article online. It was called atlasobscura.com that addressed the history of the issue. They said that in the 1820s, the word toboggan was found to mean sled in writings of that time. It was actually a French-Canadian adoption of an Algonquin word meaning sled. But then, now people that rode toboggans in the cold weather climates usually wore these little small knit hats to stay warm. People started calling them toboggan hats because those were the people that rode the toboggan who had those hats on. And by the 1920s, it got shortened in some parts of the country, like in the South, to calling the hats toboggans, when really it was a term for toboggan hats for people that rode sleds. So it's taking on dual meaning. So no one is incorrect in this matter.
I'm glad that you explained this because I've only heard of a toboggan as a sled. I've never heard anyone call it a hat before. I call it beanie.
A beanie. That's what everybody said that they call them in other parts of the country. Yeah.
I guess we said toboggan, but also thought a toboggan was a round sled, like that one guy said. I thought it was the round one, but apparently it's just a sled.
We always said toboggan. It's funny, in Canada they're called toques. They'll call them toques for that type of thing. So they're different terms, but apparently the word toboggan actually means a sled, but it got slang in different parts of the world.
Interesting. Yeah, when we were talking in our morning meeting, I'm like, now that I think of it, I've never heard anyone in my family call it a toboggan.
Really?
So is it more of a Southern thing to say toboggan? But my parents are from South Carolina. They always call them hats or beanies.
Beanies, really? Yeah, it was always, I grew up with toboggan. In fact, I remember when I went to college and somebody from the north said, a what? And I said, my hat, my toboggan. And they said, no, a toboggan's a sled. And we got to this whole
put a sled on your head?
right. We need to have a little toboggan with a sled on the top of it.
But I'm curious, do you call anything a beanie?
I mean,
like
to me,
a specific hat, I feel like is a beanie.
So I think of that little kid thing with a propeller on the top. I always thought
that's a beanie.
I always think of that.
I think of the one that's kind of slouchy, that was like big in the.
Oh, like full, like a.
Yeah.
I think of like a Scully cap, like when I think of beanie. So.
All right, weigh in on Facebook.
Yeah, what do you think?
We'll be back.
Olympian and gymnastics GOAT Simone Biles just added fiancé to her list of titles. This week, the 24-year-old posted on Twitter that she woke up a fiancé and shared beautiful pictures of the moment. She's now engaged to her boyfriend of 2 years, Jonathan Owens. Owens plays for the Houston Texans, and that's where they actually both grew up. So congratulations to them. Not only does she have all these beautiful medals, but now she has some bling on her hand.
She's just
Very
have
nice.
some great stuff happening for her these days.
Jalen, what's your tie-in now?
So check this out, y'all. It was like 2 years ago. I was scrolling Instagram one day, getting ready to go to work, and I'm looking, and I'm like, wow. Cause I'm looking at my phone, I'm like, Jonathan Owens. I'm like, okay, cool. He's dating Simone Biles. I'm like, I know Jonathan Owens. I went to high school with Jonathan Owens.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I'm scrolling Instagram. I'm like, we called him J.O. back in high school. I'm like, J.O. I'm looking, it's a picture of him and Simone Biles. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. But I mean, he's in the NFL now, so anything's possible.
Maybe
right?
you'll get invited to the wedding.
Yeah.
Jalen.
That's what I was
And
saying.
bring
Probably
me and
not.
Stacy and Eric as your
We chat
guests.
occasionally on socials, but we did say we were going to see each other at our 10-year class reunion next year.
Can you imagine if he
Okay.
shows up with Simone at the 10-year?
Oh
He-
my gosh.
It's a good chance. I don't know.
That is
but
a good chance.
Wow.
It's a good
You're
chance.
gonna have 3 dates to your
Yeah.
high school reunion.
Yeah.
Tell your girlfriend we're sorry, but we want to go.
I've already RSVP'd. I'm sorry.
Oh man. No, Jalen, I remember you telling me this. That's
Yeah.
so cool. Thanks for sharing that with us.
We need pictures from that reunion.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we're coming back.
It was fine. It was fine when I was riding the 430, and then in the middle of the 5, me riding my 5, it just.
I was worried about the signal out here because I couldn't even like talk to people on the phone yesterday.
I was using my personal phone, which is T-Mobile, and it was fine. But our mic check for who? Hi, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Investigators are still out here working on Interstate 85 in Davidson County after that plane crash Wednesday.
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together?
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Eric Chilton with you, along with Lauren Coleman and Stacey Spivey.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Whether you're watching at home, WFNY News 2 Fire Stick, Roku, and the WFNY News 2 app, and we're also on Facebook, so join that conversation.
Always live there. Thanks for joining us. So right now, we are live at the scene of that deadly plane crash on I-85 that we've been talking about. WFNY News 2's Avery Powell has what we've learned so far. But before we get to him, let's talk about this forecast, because tonight could get a little bit dicey out there, and we're talking about winds. This is really the biggest issue. It's not so much a temperature forecast. I mean, we're looking at mid-50s. That'll be for tonight, and really, honestly, we stay there overnight and even into tomorrow as well. Those temperatures aren't going to change a whole lot. Very, very mild right now, though. Some places in the low 70s, but we'll say goodbye to that. Look at these wind gusts. This is Futurecast, so this is at about 1 a.m. You've got a 43-mile-an-hour wind gust in Burlington, Asheboro 40, Lexington 43. This is one of those nights where you need to take anything outside that could blow away inside, you know, outdoor, even furniture at this point with some of this. 50-mile-an-hour wind gust is no joke. We'll see those relax a little bit as we head into the morning, but the wind advisory is in effect for us until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Here's why: because this front is getting closer to us, winds ahead of that front really causing problems. This will be an overnight situation, so most of this happens while most of us are sleeping, and then by the time you head out to work in the morning, we'll just have windy conditions, then breezy throughout the day, not necessarily that windy. Futurecast, though, you can see the majority of the rain is moving by. This is at 1 a.m., so we get the leading edge of it across the triad. Heavier showers down to the south. Can't rule out an isolated thunderstorm with this one. We're not really looking for tornado type weather for us, although that's a possibility way south into Georgia and that area. But for us, we're looking at just a windy, rainy overnight, and then it'll clear out pretty quickly after that. Long range forecast looks like this for your 7-day. We're going with the mid 50s. That'll be Friday and Saturday, clearing tomorrow after a morning shower or two, and then we'll see the sunshine for the weekend. Saturday 56, Sunday 51, and then for Monday it's a 20% chance of a late day shower, but we get warm mid 60s with a 40% chance of rain. That's for Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, and a 40% chance early on Thursday with a high of 56. Hey, don't forget to keep your WFMY News 2 app handy tonight and over in the morning. There you'll find the latest forecast with the most accurate weather team in the Triad. It is totally free from the Apple or Google Play Store.
Now to developing news on the plane crash that brought last evening's traffic to a screeching halt. Right now you're looking at video from yesterday in Davidson County. Highway Patrol say a small plane crashed into a tractor trailer driving on I-85. Officials say the pilot, 43-year-old Raymond Ackley, died at the scene. They say the truck driver was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. Right now, WFMY News 2's Avery Powell is live near the crash site in Davidson County. Avery, what are you seeing right now?
Well, investigators are still working here on Interstate 85 in Davidson County after that plane crash on Wednesday. We actually just saw them remove the plane from the scene, but you can see the semi-truck is still laying on its side beside the exit ramp, and the exit ramp is still closed for right now. I spoke with Lee Doggett earlier. He sent us this photo that you see right now on your screen. He was finishing up his work as a truck driver when he saw the plane come down and hit the semi-truck in the road. He said it caused an explosion. Doggett said people were getting out of their cars, some to take pictures, others to help. He took the photo but said he started to get worried, so he left the scene.
I noticed the fire was getting more aggressive, and then like the fuel like started burning and you could smell it, and the heat was intense, and I was just like, I was kind of worried it was going to be like another explosion. So for safety reasons, I was like, man, maybe I just need to go ahead and get away from it, and just went ahead and came home.
As a truck driver himself, Doggett said you would never imagine this happening, and his condolences go out to the families of both the pilot and the driver. We did reach out to the Federal Aviation Administration and the National Transportation Safety Board, but right now we do not have an update on their investigation. We did reach out to the Davidson County Sheriff to see when they were going to remove this truck and open up the ramp. He said that Highway Patrol was having some difficulties removing it, but they are working on it.
All right, thank you, Avery. This is a developing story. For continuing coverage, head to our website, WFMYnews2.com. Right now, we're working to learn more about a shooting that injured a 13-year-old boy. Winston-Salem police say they found the teen around 6:30 last night near William and Tyler Drive. At last check, he was still at a hospital. Details are limited right now. We'll keep you updated once we find more information.
Big news is brewing around One Triad University's latest partnership. Wake Forest is teaming up with entertainment agency AEG Presents and the Greensboro Coliseum Complex for what they're calling a historic event. Officials will hold a press conference announcing details tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. And we will be there live streaming the event. Just stick with us to find out what it's all about. And now turning to the rising tensions in Eastern Europe. Right now, thousands of American troops are on standby monitoring conflict between Russia and Ukraine. This week, 3,000 soldiers from Fort Bragg were deployed to Poland and Germany. They joined 2,000 other troops that were already there. U.S. leaders say this deployment is to reassure NATO allies and deter any potential aggression from Russia. This week, during an address, President Joe Biden said the U.S. has seen no evidence of Russia's claims that some troops have withdrawn from Ukraine's border. He reiterated his warning to Russia to not invade. And Russian officials do say that this is video of Russian troops leaving Ukraine's border, but U.S. officials believe Russia recently added as many as 7,000 troops to the border. New satellite images show heightened military activity. Officials believe an invasion could happen as soon as this weekend. But why is this all happening, and how could it impact America? I spoke with the political science department chair at Greensboro College to break it all down for us. Dr. Victor Archibong says this is all about geopolitics. Ukraine would like to join the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, also known as NATO, but Archibong says Russia doesn't want that to happen.
And the Russians are afraid that if they have a perceived enemy on their border, that doesn't bode well for them.
And take a look at this map. You can see Ukraine borders Russia. Russia wants its surrounding countries to fall in line with their type of rule. That's according to Dr. Archibong. He also says to pay attention to Poland and Belarus. Poland is part of NATO, but he says Russia is okay with that because Belarus acts as a buffer. He says Belarus has a similar regime to Putin in Russia. Dr. Archibong worries that what would happen next if Russia does destabilize Ukraine.
If they take control of the Black Sea, Turkey is threatened. And Turkey is a member of NATO, so you can see the implication. The whole region will be destabilized. So that is what is at stake. It's not just Ukraine per se, it's the consequences of taking over Ukraine.
Dr. Archibong says there are already many Russians living in Ukraine, specifically in the eastern region, and this will only aid Putin's push into the country. And this impacts all of us here at home because Russia is actually the second largest oil producer globally. So you can see those gas prices going up even more. You know, I've mentioned that before. Also, Archibong says we get a lot of our metals from Ukraine, specifically what we use with manufacturing.
See, I'm glad you did this story because this can all be a little confusing, but I definitely have seen that rise at the pump. So it's nice to know, at least get some idea where a lot of that is coming from.
Me too, because the metals, I had no clue,
Yeah.
absolutely no clue that was a thing. But for me to see that map and now to say, oh, I see, it's like it's a stepping stone for Russia to move in, and then the NATO alliance obviously doesn't want that to happen. So.
Right, yeah, it's so interesting. Dr. Archibong kept mentioning it's like he's wanting to, or Putin is wanting to reform the Soviet Union, and he's like, it makes you think back to the Cold War. Like, could this be something that could happen again, which we don't want to happen
and
again.
it's always been contentious, you know, with the United States and Russia for decades, so yeah, this will just add to that. We'll see, we'll be following it.
Serious relationships, they sometimes come with serious financial secrets, so much so that nearly 1 in 5 couples feel like money is their biggest challenge. 2 Wants to Know talks about why. How do you and your partner do money? Everything together, a joint and a separate account? Everything separate? Well, according to my Twitter poll, as I'm looking at it here, the majority of people are joint plus separate accounts. Then comes the everything all in one account, and last is everything separate. I'm sure it all depends what stage of life you are in. All right, friends, so what do you do, or what do you think about the poll results?
Well, I'm the single one in the group, so I just have a separate personal account.
Are you surprised by the results?
Not too much. I feel like my parents, I know that they both have separate accounts, and I think they have a joint one as well.
Okay.
I'm surprised because I didn't think I'd be in the minority. My wife and I keep everything separate. She has her accounts, I have mine. But what we do is, regarding what we take in, what we make, we split bills up according to that. So if one person makes 60% of the income, they get 60% of the bills.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Really? Okay. So we have a joint account that we basically do everything with, but I did keep my account that I had as a single individual, and that's really just my play money.
But also, like Christmas, I don't want her to see what I'm buying.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I use that other account for
that's
that.
my biggest thing.
That is key. That is key. Okay, so money can be tricky, right? One study shows that nearly 1 in 5 couples feel money is their greatest relationship challenge because maybe they don't see eye to eye on things. And get this, about 1/3 say they're keeping some sort of financial secret from their significant other. Now, a financial secret could be, hey, I'm stashing money underneath the mattress, like this guy right here, right? Okay. Or it could be, I have a Starbucks slush fund account and that you don't know about it. So what do we think about this?
I think that it's good to have like a rainy day fund, like say if you do have a joint account, or you're in a situation where one spouse controls all the money. Say if you were to split or you were in some type of an emergency, it's good to have a couple dollars stashed away.
So I think a big financial secret is a giant mistake, right? Because that's a trust violation.
Oh yeah,
but a little but you need to disclose it still. Like, hey, I got a little Christmas fund going on. You don't need to know about that.
Right.
Okay, I have to tell y'all what my mom used to do. I'm sure my dad
I can't
knows
wait.
now.
What is it?
I know.
Okay, so my dad would obviously get a little upset when he saw how much money my mom would spend on my designer jeans when I was in 7th grade. So what she would do was take out cash so he would never know how much they actually cost.
So she's putting it back and building up a little slush fund.
So it's a little bit of a secret, but not a secret. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to rat anyone out. But what I am going to do is remind folks that whatever bills you're responsible for as a couple, it needs to be talked about with both of you.
I'm going to meet with you quarterly to go through what we're doing. Here's what our investments are doing. Here's how I pay the bills. You cannot be an uninvolved partner to the point where you don't understand the information.
All right, so I want you to be like this couple right here because they look like they're having a good time talking about finances. Back in the day, it was very common for just one spouse to handle all the bills, and then if something went wrong, the other person didn't know how anything worked.
That's right, and you can't do that.
You can't do that. You got to know what's going on. All right, before we go, this isn't all for couples, so if you're dating, you should be asking your love interest about their finances.
What you try to uncover as you get a little bit more serious with somebody is you want to know what are your financial values, right? And what's important to you? And how much do you feel confident about your own financial acumen? And what are some of the money habits you have?
All right, so dating and money questions. Do you ask them, and when and what?
I think it's important, especially if you have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in student loans. We need you to take care of that first so then we can start our own foundation together, because you don't want to go into a situation you're like, what, I thought that you made XYZ amount of dollars. I didn't know you had millions of dollars in debt. So I think that that's important to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, goodness, I love my husband so much, but he does have a lot of student loan debt. I don't have any, so that's good that we're only paying on one, but that's definitely something you need to ask about and that you need to know about before getting into a serious relationship.
It's very important. Your methodology when it comes to money is very important.
Talk about it, people. We'll be back.
So you're the problem statement.
I was the problem.
That's funny.
Yeah, so, when you're in like middle school, you want all the coolest jeans and everything, and I wanted the designer jeans, and my dad did not like that my mom would spend that much money on my jeans and my clothes in general. So she just get cash out and use the
Oh
cash.
my gosh. If I did that and Leslie found out, I would be in huge trouble.
I wonder if he has to know now.
One time, Leslie said to me, she goes, you play your cards close to your chest when it comes to money. And I was like, I was so used to my entire life being in control of my finances. And I'm really big into investing and that kind of thing. And so
Yeah.
I am kind of tight with the money. But she said that's fine because as long as we split bills up accordingly, and that's what we do. And actually right now I am paying pretty much all the bills except she's paying off a car loan and an equity line. So she handles all that.
How do you divide up like who pays for what with the kids for different things?
And that's an interesting one because since we have 4 kids, I took the older 2 and then she took the younger 2. She buys all the grocery money, which is huge. Like that's, with 2 teenage boys, that was
That's
gigantic.
a lot of food. Yeah.
So she did all the groceries and then she handles the little ones' expenses and I handle the older ones' expenses.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we just kind of split it all up. And yeah, I don't remember having that conversation. I just remember us doing it, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Just kind of looking to see what people are
Weather
saying.
at the ham, Kayana, is that right?
To be clear, this is a guidance.
Yep, okay, center, all right.
Still have.
Everybody's talking about what's going on
Nobody's talking to you, Brad.
in Russia.
Brad Lowry, director extraordinaire.
What's next?
Wind, wind, wind. That's what we're concerned with as this next frontal system will move by in the overnight hours tonight. Temperatures not changing a whole lot. We'll probably see those mid-50s for a while, but here's what you really need to know. High winds, rain, isolated thunderstorms, that's possible mostly in the overnight hours, so say 1 a.m. up until about 6 or 7 a.m. These winds are serious, 20 to 30 miles per hour. That's sustained wind, so a constant 20 to 30 mile per hour range of winds out of the south with gusts up to 50 miles per hour overnight. Even for tomorrow, we're at 10 to 15 and gusting to 25. When you look at the front on the radar and satellite combo here, most of the rain still waiting to move into our state. We get a little bit of a frontal edge of the rain there over the mountain communities right now, but all that awaits us. And these wind gusts, as we mentioned, 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gust, not out of the question. This is what we'll see at about 1 a.m. You're getting a 43 mile an hour wind gust in Burlington and Danville. And again, that does hang out for most of the overnight until this front finally clears us and the winds will start to subside, but that may take until Friday night actually for that to happen. And then it's clear and cool as we head into the weekend, courtesy of that high pressure there. Winds clockwise around high pressure. That'll bring our winds out of the northwest, and that will cool us down. Here's what the 7-day forecast looks like for you. Let's go mid-50s for the most part. That'll be Friday, Saturday. Lots of sunshine this weekend. Cooler on Sunday with a morning low of 24 and a high of 51. And then 60 degrees Monday. The rainy days, Tuesday, Wednesday, a 40% chance, mid-60s. Maybe some rain first half of the day Thursday, then clearing in 56.
There's a new kids theme park and even some adults may be excited about it. Florida is opening the first ever Peppa Pig theme park. The little snort. It's right next to Legoland Florida Resort, close to downtown Tampa. The park has rides, play areas, shows, food, and more. Park designers say the park is created for preschoolers, so everything is miniature sized. Staff also received autism sensitivity and awareness training to open up accessibility to the park. Tickets start at almost $31 per person.
This show is so popular that, you remember that story? What was it?
Yeah.
We read that preschoolers are...
So if you haven't seen Peppa Pig, they have British accents.
yes.
And little kids here in the U.S. love it so much and watch it so much that they are speaking with British accents.
My kids loved it.
Baylor's about to be like, Mama.
I would love
Mom.
it. I would love it. Please,
Mom.
Baylor, please.
They say Mummy Pig. They
Pig.
say Mummy Pig and Daddy Pig. Yeah, it's adorable. I mean, it really is cute. And they snort when they talk. So it's always funny to me because the Daddy Pig has the deepest snort, and then little tiny baby George doesn't even sound like a pig. He's just like, it's this little teeny noise he makes. And
And
so cute.
this show has been on for some time
I
now,
think
right?
so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I haven't seen it in a while. I mean, I've put it on before for Baylor,
You'll
but
get there.
she doesn't really know. Yeah.
When she gets been about 2-3
Mom,
years, she'll be all about
I
it.
want to watch Peppa.
Mommy
Yeah.
Stacy. Right then.
I would
We'll take a break.
love
Be right
it.
back.
Little pig news.
Little snorts.
That's the thing.
Witnesses will say they shot. This could even happen.
Have to be years after COVID, because everybody eating.
1, 2. Wait, am I doing mic checks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I can now, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1.
Hi, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas.
Bluey is cute.
Hey, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I thought about doing it in a British.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Airplane just crashed on
Okay. All right, we've got other calls. We've got help on the way.
I've got an important announcement today. Winter is officially over.
Hey, I thought that was my job.
No more cold weather, no more snow. It's done for the rest of the season. I don't care what that forecast says. Mark my words, it's over. At least I hope so. Every year, snow lovers hope and pray to get a good dose of winter. And it's been a long time since their dreams came true, until this year.
3, 2, 1.
You might remember, even I was rooting for a good snowfall a few weeks ago. Well, since the first of the year, we have seen all sorts of winter weather, and we've certainly made up for the years we didn't get anything. So now I'm switching back over to the other side, the side that hopes it doesn't snow anytime soon. Snow lovers, you had your fun. Now it's time to hope and pray for another season, a new season, a season with warmer weather, green grass, and trees in bloom. Doesn't that sound nice? I think we could all use a change of pace. That's just my 2 cents, and you're 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.
I encourage schools and local governments to end their mask mandates.
Governor Cooper recommending an end to mask mandates, but will local municipalities follow suit? Plus,
We've had an airplane